For over 2 decades, Arsenal fans have lived in the shadow of glory once tasted, the Invincibles era of 2003-04, when Arsene Wenger's men conquered English football without losing a single league game. Since then, the drought has felt eternal. Missed titles, near misses, glimpses of greatness, followed by heartbreak. But in 2025, something shifted. Something, or rather, someone, changed the pulse of North London. His name, Declan Rice. When Arsenal signed Rice from West Ham United in the summer of 2023 for a club record £105 million, sterling pence, eyebrows were raised. That wasn't just a signing, it was a statement, a declaration that Arsenal were done waiting for destiny and ready to take it by force. And at the heart of that ambition was a man who plays every game like it's a battle for his life. Declan Rice didn't arrive with flash or hype, he arrived with purpose. Trained in the chaos of relegation scraps and molded by the weight of West Ham survival battles, he brought something Arsenal had been missing for years: authority. Not just on the pitch, but in the dressing room, in the huddles before kickoff, in the quiet moments after a loss. Mikel Arteta knew it. Declan, he said during the first preseason camp, isn't just a midfielder, he's a presence. And presence for Arsenal was priceless. When Rice first stepped onto the Emirates pitch in the red and white, you could feel the electricity. But his first few games weren't about noise, they were about control, and that's where his brilliance began to shine. By October 2023, in a tense clash against Manchester United, he produced one of those moments that define leaders. Deep into stoppage time, with the score level, a corner dropped to his feet. He took a breath, steadied himself, and rifled the ball into the bottom corner. The Emirates erupted. That wasn't just a winning goal, it was a signal. Arsenal weren't here to be admired, they were here to finish what they'd started. From then on, Declan Rice became the metronome of Arsenal's midfield, the heartbeat of a team finally learning how to dominate again. His stats spoke volumes, leading the league in interceptions, winning duels, dictating tempo. But what truly set him apart wasn't numbers, it was mentality. Ask any Arsenal fan and they'll tell you. The club had flair for years. Ozil, Sanchez, even Ødegaard. But what they lacked was grit. The kind of grit that doesn't blink under pressure, that thrives in chaos. Rice brought that. You could see it in his duels with Rodri, his tackles against Newcastle, his leadership when Arsenal's young squad began to wobble. And then came the Champions League return, Arsenal's first in 6 long years. In a group stage match against Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena, it was Declan who stood tallest. Bayern dominated early. Sane and Musiala carved through midfield lines, and Arsenal looked overwhelmed. But Rice, calm, composed, and relentless, anchored everything, breaking plays, barking orders, demanding focus. Arsenal escaped with a draw, but it felt like a win, because they had found something they hadn't had in years: resilience. By the end of that season, pundits weren't calling him the record signing, they were calling him the difference. But leadership doesn't come from shouting, it comes from showing. And Rice's most defining moments came not in glory, but in heartbreak. Fast forward to April 2024. Arsenal were neck and neck with Manchester City in the Premier League title race. One mistake, one off day, could cost them everything. They went to the Etihad, a fortress that had crushed their dreams before. The game was brutal, tactical, physical, tense, but Rice didn't flinch. He pressed, tackled, drove the ball forward with defiance. The match ended 1-1, but Arteta said afterward, that point felt like a victory because Declan set the tone. He made them believe. It was more than belief, it was culture. Declan Rice had taken a squad of hopefuls and made them fighters. When Arsenal narrowly missed out on the 2024 title by 2 points, it was heartbreak again. But for the first time in years, heartbreak came with pride, not pain. Fans didn't feel failure, they felt progress. Because for the first time since Vieira's era, Arsenal had a captain in spirit, if not in armband, who made them believe silverware wasn't a fantasy. Then came the 2024-25 season, and Arsenal were different, hungrier, harder. They didn't play like a team afraid to lose, they played like one that expected to win. And at the center of it all, Rice stood tall. The partnership between him and Martin Ødegaard became the spine of Arsenal's new identity. Elegance meets steel. By March 2025, the narrative had shifted again. Arsenal weren't chasing anymore, they were leading. 12 games unbeaten, clean sheets stacked high. Declan Rice wasn't just protecting the back line, he was starting attacks, controlling transitions, and dictating rhythm. Against Liverpool at Anfield, when the team looked rattled, Rice stepped up once more. In the 78th minute, he surged forward, cutting through midfield, playing a 1-2 with Saka before slotting home from 20 yards. The crowd fell silent. The away fans roared. It wasn't just a goal. It was a statement of dominance. That night, the headlines read, "Rice feeds the dream. Every team needs its soul. The player who doesn't just win games, but defines eras." For Arsenal, that soul now wears no 41. But let's not forget, Declan Rice's story isn't just about football. It's about redemption, about a kid rejected by Chelsea's academy at 14, told he wasn't good enough, about a teenager who rebuilt himself at West Ham, who captained his boyhood club to their first European trophy in 40 years, about a man who never stopped proving people wrong and now stands as one of the most complete midfielders in world football. When he lifted the FA Cup in 2025, it felt symbolic. Tears in his eyes, the Arsenal badge pressed to his chest, fans chanting his name. It was more than a trophy. It was closure, the end of doubt, the end of waiting. As pundits talk about dynasties and eras, one thing is clear: this Arsenal isn't a one-season wonder. This is a team built for legacy, and Declan Rice is its heartbeat. From West Ham's gritty captain to Arsenal's midfield general, from academy rejection to national hero, Declan Rice's journey is more than football. It's leadership, redemption, and destiny colliding in one man's career. And maybe, just maybe, he's the man who'll finally erase the ghosts of 2004, the one who'll lift that Premier League trophy high above North London's skies and end 22 years of heartbreak. Because if anyone can do it, it's Declan Rice. If you believe Declan Rice is the missing piece that could finally restore Arsenal's glory, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the stories shaping the modern game. Arsenal's rise isn't luck, it's leadership. And Rice, he's leading the revolution.